So I wanted to show you about Facebook today, if that's what you're interested in. I am here to do that. I stuck my notes underneath my computer. One moment. Hidden. So I have a few things I wanted to show you today. Give you an overview of the navigation of Facebook. It tends to move around a little bit, so people like to know where things have moved to. I'm also going to look at some privacy settings so that you're better aware of how you can stay safer, possibly than you already are on Facebook. I also wanted to show you how to post photos and videos. I'll definitely want to answer your questions. And also show you how to remove talkative friends. That tends to be an issue, and what's happening is a cultural nuance. We have a new world that we live in some places. But how do we behave here? And your parents and my parents didn't teach me how to gently navigate a digital place with no walls. So, I'm going to show you some basics about the way Facebook functions, and we'll get into some harder questions. And if you have a question throughout, feel free to ask. I will also leave time at the end for your strange and unusual questions, because they always are, and people feel bad for having them. Guess what? There are very few textbooks that teach you about Facebook. So this is the home of Facebook. This is what everybody's home looks like. And there's a new tip for the way websites work today. If you can see the F button that's in this upper left-hand corner, that's the logo for Facebook. When you click on that, it takes you home. And a lot of the newer websites, if you click on the company logo, it refreshes the page or takes you home. So it's a nice thing to know. It makes it reload for you. There's also the word home in this section right here. I know it's kind of hard for you to read some of the words, but I will zoom in and out if we really need to read it. The gist of what you're looking at is the shape of the page. And you see basic things like the big blue bar. You see this menu bar here, and this is the news feed. The news feed is a chronologically refreshing environment. If you've ever watched CNN or C-SPAN, they have a ticker that rolls at the bottom of the page. This is exactly the same concept, but it just goes in a different direction. Now, is anybody not on Facebook yet? Excellent, good to know. If you are on Facebook, what is the number one reason you use it? Anybody want to volunteer?
My daughter-in-law posts all the kids' pictures on it.
Daughter-in-law posts photos of children. That's actually the number one reason that people over the age of 40 use Facebook, is to stay in touch with their families. There are many people that can talk to their kids in no other way, can see no other photos of grandkids. My father loves photography. He lives in Rego Valley, not far from here at all. And he's in his mid-60s. He prints a lot of photos, and that's fine, but I want the actual photo. Can you give me the little cartridge that comes out of your camera? He will not let me touch that cartridge. So he will give me a photo, but by the way, he uses Walgreens, I think, and their photo machines are off, so the color is never true. So he won't listen to me. So all I get is 87 copies of the same photo. If I could get him to use Facebook, then he could post it here, and I could download it and do whatever I wanted with it. Culturally, we're still working on that. But my parents would talk to me a whole lot more if they used Facebook. So, yes?
When I get on Facebook, I'll be using it to publicize my books.
Wonderful. Well, I'm an author, so I can give you a couple hints on how to do that. So thank you, so I'll leave a couple of those in there for you. Yes? Okay, so authors, excellent. So there's something important to understand about Facebook. There's three basic uses or elements, characters, if you will. So I am a human being, I promise. You are as well. Now Coca-Cola is not a human being, and I won't get into whole political arguments about what is and is not a human being. We won't go there. But I, Kerry, am a person, and I have friends, and I want to share things with my friends. I got a promotion, I made an amazing rainbow cake yesterday, and I posted a photo of it, or I get a new puppy, or whatever it is that's going on in my life. The relationship that I have with my friends on Facebook, or family, is just that. We are personally interested in each other, and we want to know about each other's personal lives. You may have a friend on Facebook, which we will get to in the removing talkative friends. You may have a friend that talks a lot about their business. I had one today I saw was about skincare. I'm not really interested in your skincare business. You're my friend, and I'd like to know more about you personally. So Facebook has some basic rules. You must be human. You must not be impersonating anybody. You must use your real name. And they only ask for a few basic pieces of information that they actually require. They want your real name. They want your birth date. And that's important for advertising. I'll get back to that later. Your birth date. Your gender. Right now it's male, female, but the world is broadening in its view of gender identity. So shortly there will be more versions of gender identity, but right now it's binary, male, female. And your email address. Those are the only things they require. Some days, depending on the day, because Facebook changes moment by moment, they want your cell phone number, because they want to confirm that you are a real person and that they can ping you by cell phone and that you confirm that you're real, that you're not some sort of a bot that's setting up Facebook accounts so that you can game the system. There's a lot to game here. So if you have to put your cell phone number in, you can take it out within minutes of setting up your account. You can go delete it. But again, you only required your name, your birth date, your email address, and your gender. Other than that, it's really up to you how much you want to put in. You don't have to put in a photo of yourself unless you want to. But I just want to let you know that's the very minimum. Anything you share beyond that is your choice. So you set up an account, you're a person, you have friends. It is reciprocal. You have to give them permission to be your friend. But there's leakage. I heard a security specialist named Leo Laporte, he's based in Petaluma. He said, Facebook is like a leaky ship. It's constantly leaking water every which direction. So just like the Titanic, nothing is unsinkable, nothing is unbreakable, nothing is airtight. And Facebook is probably the least airtight thing on the open market today. And I want to stop and say privacy. For just a moment. I'm going to come back to this and we're going to look at the settings and how to change some of your settings. But I want to let you know right now to manage your expectations around privacy. All the way up until the 1950s or so, privacy the way we know it today, or we used to know it, it simply didn't exist. It became legal maneuvering. A lot of it had to do with your medical history. We had a good set of privacy rules for about 50 years, and now it's gone again. So privacy in and of itself doesn't really exist anymore. If you step outside of this building, there's a camera in this room. Hey, camera. There's cameras on the street, outside, on the bank next door. Google Street View cars run by and take photos of your home, your church, your front house. I have a friend whose garage door was open when the Google Street View car drove by and her underwear was on the line. It's true. So at this point, if you're sending an email, we know that Google is reading emails, your internet service provider can possibly read them, the government is subpoenaing that information, your cell phone records are up for grabs. We know how secure the regular traditional mail is. You just open up somebody's box and it's yours. So privacy doesn't really exist. So if it's private, if it's sensitive, if it's proprietary, if it's delicate, this is not the place for it, period. Okay, sorry, I just had to stop and give you some expectation about that. So this is a chronological running stream of the lives that I'm connected to. I don't use a dummy account. You're gonna actually see who I'm connected to. So this is ever running. There's a feature I want you to know about. It's right here, it says Newsfeed. And it has a drop-down arrow. Facebook has to make decisions every second that it's up between 1,500 and 15,000 possible stories that they could give to you. Now, I follow the New York Times and the Press Democrat. I follow the City of Santa Rosa. I follow the California Community Colleges, Sonoma State. I follow friends, I follow lots of different organizations. Every single moment, Facebook has to decide what to show me. And it uses what's called an algorithm, a basic set of factors that helps it make decisions. This is my best friend from junior high. She ranks very high on the algorithm because Facebook says they like each other, they talk a lot, they share each other's content. She gets a very high grade in my algorithm. And as I scroll down, the Napa Sonoma SBDC is here. If you can't read it, don't worry about it. It's an advertisement. Yes?
You turn the news feeds off.
Ha, no. Excellent question. You cannot turn off the news feed. It is the spine that runs through Facebook. With no spine, we can't really survive. This is where everything shoots off of. So it just is making decisions every moment of every day about what I want to see based on one major thing, my behavior. There's a few different activities I can take. On this particular post from my old best friend, we've reconnected through Facebook, as a matter of fact. We stopped being friends somewhere around teenage years and reconnected on Facebook. And we remember how much we really, really like each other and how much we're still really very close. So I could like this piece of content. There's a little button right here that says like, which its physical equivalent is the thumbs up, which you see in lots of different places. Netflix has this in the form of stars. Amazon has this in the form of stars. Instagram has it in the form of hearts. You're just showing in the positive you like this piece of information. That's one thing that Facebook uses. There's also a commenting feature. She posted something from an NFL commentator earlier today, and I commented on it. And then I shared it. And I shared it with my audience. And that's the most powerful thing that you can do on Facebook, according to them, is to share somebody else's content. This could be a recipe. This could be a news article. This could be a tip on how to fix or do something. But when you share, that tells Facebook the most about what you're interested in, the party that you shared it from, and the content that it's about. And now let's say you share an article about adopting pets from shelters instead of going to breeders. What'll happen is if that post was about cats, adopt a cat instead of buying a cat, I'm gonna get a lot of information about cats. Good, bad, and ugly. So all Facebook can really tell is that I like cats. We'll give them more cats. And then they give me a lot more cats. So again, I have, maybe 400 friends. I follow several hundred pages, and I'm in probably a dozen groups. So everything I interact with, it remembers.
So define follow. When you say follow, you look at every one of them, or
So define follow. Excellent question. So it really starts with the word friend. So if somebody asks me to be their friend, which is again, brings me back to my reciprocal statement, I have to allow them to be my friend. Also with that privacy issue, there's no way to say no, I do not want this person to be my friend. It says not now. And what happens when I choose not now is that they can see my posts if they're set to public. So this could be somebody I really don't like. This could be a nosy neighbor. This could be an ex-boyfriend. This could be somebody that is harassing me. If I choose not now, they can still see my public posts. And I'm going to show you how to change that setting. So friends, I say yes, you're my friend, or I say not now, but you can still kind of witness what I'm doing off to the side. And then I can interact with that person. There's another section called groups, which I can show you a group I created. This is Bacon Lovers United. I have a passion for bacon, and there's not really any appropriate place to put that passion. So I created a group, and my friends, we post great photos or foods that we see or recipes or just bacon conventions. This is as serious as it gets. This is very important stuff. So there are open groups, which anybody can join. You don't have to ask permission. This is this is a public group, which is just that. I do have a moderation where I get to choose the people that come in. I get to say yes or no. But it is a public group, so anybody can see it. It's in the directory. Nothing very private or serious happens here. There are closed groups where it's not available in the directory. You have to know it exists in order to even find it, and you still have to be approved. There are secret groups, which in my privacy caveat, there is no such thing as secret, because if you live your life that everything could get spilled out onto the open deck, then you live in a much safer place. But I do belong to a secret group. And the reason it's secret is that every professional woman that belongs to this group has a very serious job. Several government officials and people that work for nonprofits, and we have to be serious all the time. And we can giggle about boys if we want to. And then nobody judges us. And it's a very small group of women. But we still don't swear because we know it could get spilled at any moment. But it is a little bit more of a quiet conversation where we can vent if work was not good today, that kind of thing. Or our parents really bother us, or whatever's going on. So you have open or public, you have closed, and you have secret. 3 different versions. Anybody can have a group. And to give you another example, the PC users group might want a group. It's a group of people that don't necessarily see each other all the time, have similar subject matter. My favorite example actually is for nurses, because nurses are somebody's always on shift, and they don't get the opportunity for all of them to gather in the same room together, ever. So Facebook is a wonderful opportunity for nurses to talk to each other. That just happens to be my favorite example of what a group might be useful for. It's not good for advertising, it's not good for reaching the outside world, it doesn't replace a website, that kind of thing. But then there's a page. A page is a miniature version of a website. And this is mine. So I get a nice photo, which this photo exists on my website. All of the information that you can find here, almost all of it you can find on my website. And what's the difference between having a friend profile and a business page? The FCC has something called the Can-Spam Act. And that is, if you have gone to your dentist or Curves, or gone to a jewelry store, or gone to the grocery store, and they ask for your email, you have the right to say no. They have to ask your permission. The Can-Spam, which is a joke, electronic mail or spam, so they named it the Can-Spam. I don't know whose idea that was. 2003, it's really giving you control over the communications that come to you. There is no such act for physical mail. But when spam really grew out of control, when the internet really grew very quickly, they had to put that in place. And it really extends over a lot of places, but where you see it the most in action, and you don't realize what you're looking at, you go to Safeway and you buy something, and they say, can we get your email? I say, do I have to? And they say no, and I say, no, thank you. Because they're just gonna send me coupons I'm not gonna use. Every single email that you get that comes through a system like that, they use mass emailing systems, constant contact, eye contact, vertical response, it doesn't matter. They have the right to send to hundreds, thousands, millions of people. Safeway has to use a service like that in order to get their email to you. Facebook has something very similar. They have a like button right in the center of the page. Remember I said you can like things? It tells Facebook that you want more information. And this is in compliance with the FCC Can-Spam Act. So I, as a business on Facebook, or Coca-Cola, or Target, or Safeway, I have to get your permission before I can market to you. No matter where I want to market to you, I have to get your permission. If they don't, they're spammers, and the bottom fine is $16,000. So many people don't understand that Facebook is an advertising channel, and it is part of the open communications in the United States, and it has to abide by the laws. A lot of people violate the laws, just like you're supposed to wear a seatbelt, but you know, you can break the rules. It doesn't mean you won't get arrested for it, or in trouble, or fined. So you have to like a page in order to get communications from them. They have to get your permission. The difference between pages and friends, pages have an unlimited amount of people that can like them. Millions and millions and millions. You see this with the White House and celebrities, things like that. But if you want to have a friend relationship, you're capped at 5,000 friends. Does anybody in here have more than 5,000 friends? Yeah, I didn't think so. There's something called the Dunbar number. It's a statistical number that human beings don't have more than 150 relationships. They just don't. So the fact that they've given us 5,000 is far more than we actually need. So there's no advertising for personal profiles, But because I'm a business here on Facebook, I have the ability to advertise as much as I want. Again, have to stay within those FCC regulations.
So if I click on like,
Mhm.
that I like you, then does that give you permission to
Yes.
spam?
You have given me permission to communicate with you. I'm going to use that PC word. Now, Facebook's made it really, really difficult for me to communicate with you. You gave me that initial go-ahead, but Facebook has throttled businesses back. There's 30 million business pages on Facebook now. We are actually spending more time on Facebook than grooming, than brushing our teeth, brushing our hair, and taking showers. Ooh. Yeah, so Facebook has really taken, and I have to say it's taken over the #1 internet activity. Anybody want to guess what that is? Yes, XXX activities. The oldest profession, right? The most popular thing since the internet was invented. Facebook takes more time than even that. Not just Facebook, all social media. So it's important to know that people under the age of 40 kind of live here. Literally, kind of live here. So with mobile devices, the majority of them are using a mobile device. But this page here, I can advertise, I can reach an unlimited amount of people, but I cannot cross the line and go talk to you without your permission. So they're keeping a separation between personal and professional as much as they can, and Facebook's made it extremely difficult now that there's so much on Facebook to advertise, or to communicate with you unless I actually put some money behind it. You have a question?
What does 12 visits mean?
I have a physical location. I have a local business, so when I put in my address and I categorize myself as a local business, so 12 people have chosen to check in at my location. It just puts them on the map. So if I were, my business is to teach people how to use technology. So I don't have really, really tech geeky or tech savvy people coming to visit my office. If I was an Apple store, that number would be like 8 million. Tech savvy people that checked in at my location. Your question.
Now that photograph's an unusual format. You have to crop to get that photograph. How do you do
It
that?
is an unusual format. The pixels on this is 815 by 351. It's a strange number. So, you know when you walk into a really beautiful home, especially when you're home shopping or visiting a friend, and they have one of these amazing portrait windows, and you're just, wow, look at that view. This is a portrait window. They want people to be able to see the view of the world.
What tools do you use for that?
This, actually, I had a professional photographer shoot a lot of photos of me. I chose this image, my graphic designer fixed it. There's actually a tool, let me put it on here for you. CANVA. Canva. Canva is an amazing tool because it has the exact dimensions for whatever it is you want to do. Life's gotten a lot easier. A couple of years ago, this was more painful and you had to do it with whatever tool that you had available to you. But Canva will help you create your own custom graphics. All you need is an image. You don't even need an image, actually. You could do a tremendous amount. This is going to be your new best friend. So you don't have to know all of the dimensions of the photos because their templates are already set for you. So, advertising, unlimited amount of friends, or excuse me, fans, and that's the main difference. And this is open to the public. This is findable on search engines such as Google or Bing or AOL or Yahoo. The personal profile that I have, I've actually opted out. And let me show you some privacy settings. You will find your privacy settings in the upper right-hand corner. We've got my profile, which I could go there. I could go home, which I'm already home. I can see if I have anybody that wants to be my friend. Right now, nobody wants to be my friend. I'm okay with that. Here is private messages, which let me stop real quick and explain private messages before I get into settings. If you go to my profile, which is me, big faces, me and my husband. This is a cover photo. But I want you to think about what a college dorm looks like. You walk into a residence hall. one of the first things you see is a common room. There's a television, there's a ping pong table, there's a vending machine, there's students, they're lazy, they're skipping class, they're eating chips, they're watching TV, they're talking to their friends, they're not doing homework, they're not being serious, they're not where they're supposed to be. Facebook was designed for college students. So that news feed is the common room. That's where people are hanging out and avoiding work, avoiding what they're supposed to be doing, eating chips, talking on the phone, talking to their friends. So, let's say I get a delivery of cookies from my mom at the dorm room front counter. And somebody from that front counter walks down the hallway and they have a whiteboard. A lot of college dorms, people have a notepad or a whiteboard on their door so you can write them a note. And somebody writes on my wall, Kerry, there's some cookies at the front door for you. So they can come right here and write on my wall, hey Kerry, come get your cookies. Everybody can see that because they're walking down the hallway. It's not private, it's totally open. And it appears in the news feed. It appears here. Kerry, you've got cookies. You know what's going to happen, those cookies are going to disappear.
Yeah.
So if somebody writes on my wall, everybody can see that. It is open, open, open. But if somebody chooses to slip me a private note, those cookies are awesome, you better get here quick, they're gonna slide it under my dorm room door. And that is, which you don't see on mine, let me look at somebody else's. I'm gonna go to, here we go. One of my sister. So here's a button that says message. That is slipping it under her dorm room door. I'm gonna use this message button right here. I might send somebody my phone number, my email address. We might be talking about going to get coffee together. A little bit more private so that the whole world doesn't know where we are. But I do like the story of slipping it under the dorm room door. That's this button. But remember, anybody can see anything if they try hard enough. This, if I write on her wall here, is the equivalent of writing it on that whiteboard on her dorm room door. Everybody can see it. And it ends up showing up in the newsfeed. So, just want you to know where those two differences are. So let's look at privacy and how to make some changes. And you see this, there's a little globe up here with the number 2. That means I have 2 notifications. Somebody's trying to talk to me. But if there's a little arrow in this upper right-hand corner, and I have some options, I'm looking for settings. That's where log out also is. They make logging out very hard to find. Okay, so let me show you some basic parts of Facebook that you're going to want to see. General, where you can change your name. I actually made an account for my cat at one point. I used to use my husband's account to log in and take a look at my clients' posts to get outside of myself, and then he closed his Facebook account, and I didn't have an option of seeing it outside of myself. So I created an account for my cat. Remember I said you have to be human, you have to use a real name. Facebook used public documents to double check to see if Bolt Rego was a real person. Bolt is not a walking on 2 legs person, he's a furry person. But he has no public records, no utility, no driver's license. Depending on the state, they can check different records. But basically, if you've ever owned a home or had a utility bill in your name, Facebook is going to use that to reconcile to see if you're a real person. Bolt did not pass the test, and they shut that account down. I really don't like to break the rules, but for my business, I needed another way in. So I find other ways to do it, but ultimately, they shut it down within about a month. They figured it out. There are some people that you know that have multiple accounts. Some people you know that use a nickname or a husband and wife that combine their name into one, Bob and Sherry, that kind of thing. So those exist, but it's just like people that don't wear their seatbelts. It takes a long time for Facebook to catch up to that kind of stuff. And they won't warn people if they do that. 4 basic rules of Facebook. If you break the rules, this is their game, this is their playground, they can chuck you off. So, you may see violations, but at some point they will get shut down.
But in reference to that, can you have a personal account and a business account?
Can I have a personal and a business account? And no, you can't. That was the 4th rule. Thank you. You can only have 1 account. It's really, it boils down to advertising. Google is an advertising exchange, Facebook is an advertising exchange, and we'll look a little closer at the advertising, but what they can promise is that 1.5 million people will see your cat food ad, we promise. If you have 2 or 3 or 5 accounts, those numbers that they sell to the advertisers are useless. So it's really in their best interest, in order for their profit, to make sure that each and every one of us only has one account. If we have multiples, then their advertising value is devalued. So name, email address, you can change your password here. It is a good idea to change your password occasionally. Passwords should be words that are not related. I had one for a while that was cat granola. I think that was the password for the cat account. Cat granola 100. Why? Because cat and granola don't go together. Silly putty, that goes together. Birthday party, that goes together. Using 2 words that aren't related and some numbers. And any other variation. I like to stick with the same couple numbers and then I just rotate the root words every 6 months, once a year. I recommend personally writing down your passwords. I use Excel and then I have password protected. You have to write the passwords down and the second you set them, because you will forget them, trust me. And if you have to change them on a regular basis, there's no way you can remember them. But here's how to change your password. Language, temperature Fahrenheit, just in case you're a Celsius person. You can also download a copy of all of your Facebook data, which is all the photos that you've posted. Let's say you want to shut your account down. This takes a couple hours generally for it to work, and they'll send you an email that say it's done. If you don't get that email, then it didn't work. The first few times I tried to do that, because my account is so old, it didn't download. But this is a great way to know that you can shut your account down whenever you want and get back some of the history of the things that you've done. And this, my screen's just a little wide. Make it a little smaller so we can see the choices on the right-hand side at the same time. Let's do one of these. No, the screen's not adjusting. They all say edit on the right-hand side. Let's look at the next one down, security. Login notifications. You can get a notification if somebody tries to log into your account. You may not want that. Code generator, Most of this stuff you probably wouldn't be interested in because I'm not really interested in it. And I can't translate a use for most of this. But it says deactivate your account right there. That is not delete. That's put to sleep. And if you were to deactivate your account, what'll happen is if you try to log back into Facebook, it'll resurrect it and wake it right back up again. If you want to delete your Facebook account, it's not in their best interest to give you that link. You would most likely Google it. How do I delete my Facebook account? That's the easiest way to do it, and you'll be able to get a live link. You won't find it anywhere in Facebook. It's buried. But it does exist. Delete is gone forever. Deactivate is put it to sleep. Privacy. Here we go. So privacy, this is a really important one. Has anybody that has used Facebook seen the rumors that say, stuff's not private, do this and it'll be private? These kinds of rumors go around like chain mail, like chain letters, about every 6 months. Again, there's no such thing as real privacy. And unless everybody locks down their accounts to a certain extent, then kind of everybody's at risk. So what you want to know is who can see my stuff. Right now I have it set to public. The last time I posted it was public. If I were to change it to friends or a custom group of people, then that's where it would stay. And I'll show you when we leave here how to change it on an everyday basis. Yes?
When you say public,
Public, that's what it means.
but there's really only one place to go, so it's who can actually see what you've written.
Well, public is that anybody that may have ever asked you to be their friend can see it. Anybody that is your friend can see it. Their friends can see it. And then their friends of friends can see it. So it's just one big long chain of people. So public, and also, and we'll see it in here, that you can turn yourself off from being found in search engines. So I'm personally turned off, so if you were to look up my name on Google or some other search engine, you wouldn't find my Facebook profile. Many people have this left open, so when I say public, it's really, really public.
Why did you turn that off?
I turned it off because I'm a professional speaker, so when I'm out and about and I meet a room full of new people, a lot of people want to be my friend, and that's fine. But what I've learned is that there's a lot of other tools out there that I want to use to promote who I am, And my Facebook profile is not my favorite place. I do occasionally talk about bacon and the cake I made yesterday. If I want them to find me on the web, I want them to find a more professional version. Not that I'm hiding it, because again, this is public and everything I'm doing here is public. I just don't want them to find it right away from Google. I would prefer people that I consider my traditional friends to find it. But if I'm over here, here's where you can change the setting. This is what's called a status update box. It says what's on your mind, the question changes. But this is where people say, I made a cake yesterday, I bought a new puppy, I'm very excited, or traffic was really frustrating. Whatever it is you want to say, I have a new book. And it's amazing. And this is what I've been doing, is been telling people all along the way of the day I finished my book. I was so excited to say, finally, today's the day I finished principal writing. And all my friends gave me a digital pat on the back. So it felt momentous and I wanted to share it. Not a photo necessarily, just the words. So it has right here, it says public. This is for public consumption. I'm okay with anybody seeing it. Just like me standing out in front and having a loud conversation. Anybody can overhear me and I'm okay with that. But occasionally I will post photos of my child, very rare. But when I do, I will change it to friends. So I most of the time leave it to public. I also can change it to friends. That could be talking about going on vacation, though I don't recommend you talk about going on vacation. Letting people know when you're going to be away from your home is not safe on any medium. Just like you wouldn't put it on the front page of the newspaper, you're not going to put it on Facebook. Then under more options, I could customize the 5 people that I want to see this, or the 7 people that I want to see this. But for this purpose, you really only need to know about public or friends. If you were to leave it at friends and not change it, it will stay friends. So I wanted you to know, every time you post, you have the option of changing how many people can see it.
And can you delete that photo when you're done?
You sure can. You sure can. So under these settings, here we go. Public, that's where it was set the last time. I can review every post that someone tags me in so that I don't get associated with something I'm not okay with. I have that turned on. Limit the audience for posts you share with friends or the public. Yes, I have limited it. It's literally, they're pretty easy to read. I recommend, just like with a car, you read the most important things you need to know. And there's not a tremendous amount of information in here. Who can contact me? Who can send me friend requests? Friends of friends versus anybody on the planet. Friends of friends can ask me to be friends, and I still have the option of saying yes or not now, which puts them off to the side. They can still see everything. Whose messages do I want filtered into my inbox? Basic filtering. Spam does happen on Facebook. It's not that often. Just complete strangers. That's rare. And you can always mark them as a spammer. Who can look you up using my email address? My face is, my information is all over the web. So you have to be my friend in order to look me up by email. Because if my name is in hundreds of databases, that means all of those marketers could break the rules and find me on Facebook.
How do your clients find you?
They get my business card and then they email me. I'm actually pretty easy to find because most of my clients are related to somebody I'm already friends with. So it just gives me a little bit more filtering, a little bit more safety. Who can look you up using the phone number you've provided? Everyone. Most people don't have that phone number. That's interesting. I may want to change that setting. Let me change that setting right while I've got you guys here. Will it work? There we go. Edit. Who do I want me up? Just my friends. There we go. That's simple. And I do recommend coming in here every few months and reading these again, because they change all the time. The wording changes. It gets a little easier. They move the buttons around. Let's see. Do you want search engines to link to your timeline? I choose no, because I have a business page for that. If I want a search engine to find me, I want them to find my page.
So you do get a business page versus a personal.
So every business page that exists, she's rectifying. I understand how this can be confusing. I'm a person, and I can have as many pages as I want. I run a page for my Rotary Club, I could run a page for my church, I could run a page for my Girl Scout troop, I could run a page for my jewelry business. I only have one account. I'm one human, but I'm involved in a lot of different things. And I do, right now, I'm at the lowest level ever, I'm connected to only 4 pages. But at any given time, I've gone up to as high as 16 pages. One human, 16 sets of keys. So as I let them go, I can hand those keys to somebody else. But yes, it's really important that they can only count one human versus 16 businesses. Yes?
I think earlier you said there's also an instant messaging.
There is.
Are those separate when you turn one on? Or how does that work?
There is something called a chat feature. And the chat feature is very similar to, well, there's Facebook Messenger, which is an app for a mobile device. The chatting feature and the private messaging are basically all the same platform, just depends on where you're using it within Facebook.
Oh, I meant, if you turn your email off, can you still instant messaging?
Yes, you can turn off instant messaging. It has chat right here at the bottom, and I have it turned off.
You toggle in and out.
Yeah. I have it turned off because I have a cousin that doesn't have a life and spends too much time trying to chat with me. So I just turned it off. So, let me go to the left here. So, timeline and tagging. This is a useful feature. You may not have this issue, but those that went to college recently and have a lot of photos that you might have some crazy photos. I don't know. You just might. But if you know of anybody that decides to scan photos and embarrass you with bad haircuts or bad outfits or questionable behavior, you can choose who can add things to your timeline. This, most frequently, you'll see it at Christmas. And now what I'm hearing with my sisters-in-law is we take photos of each other's kids and families, and then we say, post it to Facebook and tag me. That way, nobody has to send emails back and forth. We upload the photos once and tag the right people, and then you get a notification. But if it's a questionable photo, you can choose who can post your timeline. I have friends. You want to review posts that your friends tag before they appear on your timeline. That's that crazy friend that has no filter as to what's appropriate. I think my brother-in-law had a friend check him in or tag him at a local Hooters. And he has small children. And I said, why is he not with the small children? And then I realized one of his friends had tagged him. So you can choose to approve it before it goes onto your timeline.
So when you tag, you give permission?
Tagging, you allow people to tag you in a photo or a post, like they were with you or they have a photo of you. You can approve it before everybody sees that you're in that photo or in that post. And I highly recommend turning that feature on.
Because if you send a photo that nobody...
Somebody could post a photo of you that you don't approve of and that you don't like. You might not even be in the photo. I've seen it as a marketing tactic where somebody will post, let's say, a political flyer and then tag 50 of their friends. You might not agree with those political beliefs. You might not want that to be part of the open conversation. So there are times that people will tag you in a photo you're not even in.
Where's the setting for that?
This is, we're in settings, so it's in the upper right-hand corner for settings, and then we're now in timeline and tagging. So, yeah, so this is all about managing tags. You can block people as well. If you choose to block them altogether, they vanish from the face of Facebook. They go away. And I have blocked several people. If you know any of them, please don't tell them. But it is ultimately that they make me angry when they post, or that's pretty much it. So
They have a different political view of it.
one of them's actually kind of a stalker. So, you can do the same thing with apps. So if there is an app like the poker games or the Mafia Wars or there's lots and lots and lots of games on Facebook. By the way, the #1 way that computers become infected with viruses in the corporate world is through Facebook games. So I recommend if you want to play a game, play a game. Don't choose to do it on Facebook just because it's such a leaky ship. There's a lot of ways for viruses to get in here, but in the corporate world, this is where they receive most of their problems. The rest of these I wouldn't worry about for you because they're really technical parts, but I want to show you how to quiet a talkative friend. So this guy Randy, he's lovely. I obviously have not muted him. I like to call it muting because let's say Randy's that cousin. Remember I told you I had a cousin that talked to me too much? I love my cousin. I don't want drama at Christmas. So what I'm going to do is he's still my cousin, but he doesn't know I can't hear him. He doesn't know I can't hear him. So let me show you how to do that. So if I hover over Randy's name, I get his cover photo, his profile photo, and it says he's my friend. Yes, I want to keep him as my friend. There's a button right here that says following. Let me explain what's the difference between friending and following. It seems like it's a double step. Mark Zuckerberg, who is the CEO of Facebook, he has to follow the rules too. He only gets 5,000 friends. But guess what? Every journalist on the planet wants to know what he's doing. So he's hit his maximum. He's done. He can't go above that. But journalists follow him. I follow him. So he posts maybe once every 3 or 4 months. And when he does post, we all get it. Same thing, there's a DC political journalist that I follow. He's not my friend. I follow him. He's allowing me to overhear his conversations. So when he posts photos of his baby or whatever it is he's posting about, family photos, he changes that setting to friends and I can't see it anymore. This is what happens with me. I have a lot of people that follow me as well because I'm a local public figure. So I can unfollow Randy. So I'm no longer going to be getting his posts in my feed. He does not know that. He will not get notified. Well, let's say, you know what? That's one comment too many. I'm done. I can't deal with him anymore. Getting notifications means I'll get a notice, bless you, every single time he says something, like up here in the upper right corner. Unfriend. That severs the friend relationship. Again, he does not get a notification. He does not know. He'll figure it out at some point when he looks me up. But I can choose to completely sever the relationship by unfriending him. I can unfollow him, which is in effect mutes, or I can block him if I really, really need him to disappear. Yes?
Does it move him into the same category as the not now?
Which choice?
The unfriend?
Unfriend? That's a really good question. And I'm going to say no. There's no documentation on this. I'm going to say no. This moves him completely outside of the circle. He's no longer able to see my public posts unless he goes looking for me, really. If he goes to my profile and looks me up, then he can see anything that's public. But when I unfriend him, he's no longer going to see me in his feed at all unless he goes way out of his way to go looking for my information. But the people that have asked to be my friend and I said not now, they don't realize that I haven't friended them because my public posts are coming through the feed.
So if you get, rather than saying not now, wouldn't you be better to friend them and then immediately unfriend them?
That's a really great hack. I like the way you think. That's a good one. I would say yes, that would be a great tactic, absolutely. But again, Facebook could change it at any moment. But that's my understanding of the way it does function. I like that. Yes?
How do you do the actual unfriending?
I just, see it's selected blue right here, I would just select unfriend.
Click on it.
Just click on it. So I just wanted to show you the menu. But yeah, I just hit unfriend, and then I would see if I was sitting on his profile, the same button exists on his profile, it would say add friend. So I would see that it had worked immediately. Yes?
I assume because it's a web page, anybody can click on an image and say, save image as and then download.
Absolutely. So if I open up this image and I go down to the bottom, there are a whole bunch of, you can't see it, I'm sorry. There's menus, and there's a menu at the bottom that says tag photo, and then it says options, and under options I can download the photo. So there is no way to, A, turn off the download function. People can download any photo that you put on Facebook.
What happens if you right click on it?
You can download it with your right-click menu as well. You can take a screen capture. So everything you say on Facebook, on the open web, every photo that you post, it's public, it's gone, it's Pandora's box. There's no getting it back. You can delete things, yes. And you mentioned deleting. Let me go to, well, let's go to my profile. And I posted this a couple hours ago. I shared this from my friend. If I want to delete it, there's an arrow in this upper right-hand corner. And I can change the date, which will move it around on my timeline. I could change the location. I could save it for later. There's all kinds of things. But here's delete. I can hide it from my timeline as well. Just so that people don't see it, but it still exists. And embedding a post is how the news gets Facebook posts or Twitter posts or any other social media. They call it embedding, so that you can put it on another website, embed it into a blog or something. So it's still live, it's still working as if it's on Facebook, and if you click on it, it will take you to the original post. But delete is probably the most important function that you want. You can also edit it if you have a misspelling. I found that the other day. But as you scroll through somebody's timeline, see there's the rainbow cake I made yesterday. And I edited it, but for some reason it doesn't hold the edits. I cross-posted this from Instagram, which is Facebook's standalone photo app. Yes?
Tell you, if you do it anywhere else, if you have a lot of stuff that you want to say, so you go to Word,
Yep.
and you put it in because you want to put paragraphs in, if you then paste that into Facebook, it will not let you edit.
That's good to know. Good to know. I find that when I post something from Instagram to Facebook and I find a misspelling like I did in that post, even if I edit it, it won't hold the edit, which I think is, because misspellings drive me crazy. So we talked a little bit, I showed you how to remove a friend. I showed you the differences between writing on somebody's wall and sending them a private message. Gave you the difference between a personal profile and a page. It's really the amount of people that it's public and that you have advertising. And I also gave you some privacy settings, and I want to show you, if I click in this box here, this box works the same on as if I do it at the newsfeed as well. Doesn't matter which place you do it. But if I want to upload a photo, it says photo video. And I browse it from wherever it is on my computer, just like you would attach to an email. And let's see, do I have? Ooh, Super Kerry, that's a good one. I had a superhero made. I mean, I couldn't resist. So I choose it, and then it shows up in this little box here. I could choose to make a whole album as well. You can give it a date, you can tag it. I went to Greece this summer, upload them all at once, and then you can write individual captions in each one. You can move photos from one album to another. So, if you were to upload a video here on Facebook, it stays within Facebook. And I'm going to change that to friends, and I'm going to hit post. Boom, there it is. And it shows me the timestamp. It says 2 seconds ago, and if I click on it, it fills the whole page. So I'm going to check and see if you have any questions that I haven't yet answered, and I'm actually going to delete that. Watch this. It's fun. But guess what? Somebody saw it. Somebody saw that. Yes.
Why would you not lie about your birthday?
Excellent question. So you can lie about your birthday, absolutely, if you want to. It's only in Facebook's best interest that you're honest, because again, they want to know your gender, they want to know your age, they know where you live, they learn your habits, how you shop, what you're interested in. They're collecting data on you as a general person, not as you specifically, but as a general person of your age range so that they can sell that data to marketers. So you can fudge your date, your birth date, absolutely. It is, again, their rule. If they find, the odds of them discovering this are so limited, that they find that your name on your public records and your birth date don't match what Facebook has. I have never heard of anybody getting chucked off of Facebook for lying about their birthday. So it's really up to you how you want to change that. Yes?
You can also, and I don't know where it is, because it's been such a long time ago that I got my Facebook account. But you have to tell Facebook the year, but
Yes.
you can tell Facebook not to show the year.
Correct.
So
Yes.
you can just say on your profile that people see, it'll just say March 4th.
Absolutely. In your settings, that's a really important mention. I actually wrote a blog on that, and it's very, very popular, so it seems like a lot of people want to know how to hide their birthday. So Facebook can have that information, but you don't necessarily want everybody to know so that you get hundreds of birthday announcements and congratulations, which the first year I was on Facebook, I had hidden mine, all my settings really tight, and I was like, why does nobody wish me a happy birthday? And then then the next year I was like, oh, it's because I didn't make it public. So yes, you can choose your birth date, like March 7th, or you can remove the year if you don't want the year on there. You can make all kinds of adjustments to your birth date, and it's in the settings.
Is the year on or off by default?
It's off. I don't know what the default setting is right now. By default, I believe it's just month and day, and then it calculates and gives your age. I think by default it's just day and month. So you have to tell it to allow your year, and then they just populate your age for you. Thanks. Yes, but so I'm gonna take this one. I'll get to you. Yes.
Sometimes I'll write a comment, and then I notice after posting, and one word is the bigger writing, bigger letter. Yeah, what like that? And it's just
So why is a letter in your comment bigger than another?
it's just one word. It was bigger, the big letter. Yeah.
It's possible. It's possible it's human error, and that you hit the shift key while you typed a letter. It's possible that you have autocorrect, where your browser is automatically inserting what they think you want to write. That is a lot of errors we see has to do with autocorrect. But you can always go back and edit it if you want. There's a little pencil.
Yeah,
If you hover over your comment, there's a pencil that appears, and you can edit it.
Yes, I tried to edit it, and then I click it again, and it's come out the same way. And I don't know how.
I wonder if that's your browser. It's possible that you have a browser issue. You have a question.
Two quick answer questions. Does Facebook put advertisements on your page? And,
Yes,
yes.
It does.
So it gets that information and puts advertisements.
it does put advertisements. My page is not showing them right now, but usually it's in the right-hand sidebar. There we go. That's my chat bar on the right-hand side. But you can see Facebook has advertising throughout. This is an advertising exchange, and that's how they make money.
And your Press Democrat news, so if you follow the Press Democrat, do they give you just specific news, or do they give you the whole thing?
The pages themselves, it really depends on how much of an interaction you've had. Just like any other page, Facebook determines based on how you interact with that page before they show you a certain amount of posts. How frequently they post, how frequently you interact with it, if they're advertising. So a lot of those factors come into play. You're only seeing a small percentage of what, as an example, the Press Democrat is posting. That's why it's a little bit more difficult for pages to be seen. We have to work a lot harder. It does have a nice small budget. But I am going to stay after this to answer some more questions, but I respect your time and wanted to say thank you very much for coming. Contact information in the back if you would like to ask me questions or want to reach out to me on any channel that you use. I use pretty much all of them. But I'm going to hang out and answer some more questions, but thank you very much for coming.
Thank you, Kerry.